One of my favorite stories, true story, is a psychological study that I love, which is what they did was, the researchers, it was a study on attention, and they took the subjects, who are all usually college students, graduate school students, so smart kids, kids who are used to being attentive and following instructions, and the participants were all told, okay, your job is watch this 6-minute video. It's a basketball game. There's a red team, there's a white team. Count how many baskets each team makes. Okay, it's easy. Basketball's not, it's not like football where you can't, or American football where you can't figure out where the ball is and who's doing what. Basketball, at least, you can you can follow it. You can figure it out. Okay, the ball in the net, won. And so they all did that. And they all got it right. At the end, when there was a, test, how many baskets did the white team make? They got it right. How many baskets did the red team make? They got it right. But there was a third question on the test. And that third question was, did you notice anything else? And as it turned out, the point of the study was not actually the basketball game. The point of the study was halfway through the basketball game, in the middle of the court, this enormous gorilla, a person dressed as a gorilla, came onto the basketball court and started dancing for 30 seconds. More than 50% of the students missed it entirely. They wrote no to the question, did you notice anything else? Now, this is amazing because you would think, well, maybe they closed their eyes, but they didn't because they got every basket. You'd think maybe they were daydreaming, but they weren't because they got every basket. So they were paying full attention. How could you miss an enormous gorilla smack in the middle of the basketball court, dancing? And the answer was very simple. It wasn't what they were told to look for. It wasn't the instructions they were given. If at the beginning they had been told, oh, and by the way, count the baskets, but by the way, make sure you don't miss the gorilla. They all would have found it. They would have been waiting. Where's the gorilla? When's the gorilla going to come? Even if they had simply been told, and by the way, make sure you don't miss what's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Even if they weren't told it was a gorilla, they would still get it. But it's not what we're told to look for. And this is what happens in life. The instructions we're given are, get a good education, get a good job, make the right amount of money, have a family, build a white picket fence around your home, make sure your children go to the right school. These are the instructions we're given. And usually, for most of us, it's not until the end of our life that we wonder, was there anything else? Did I miss something? I mean, I got 100% on the test. I got the education thing. I got the career thing. I got the money thing. I got the family thing. I got the white picket fence thing. But did I miss something? Or you start reading Vedanta. You embark on a spiritual path. And then suddenly we're face to face with, oh my God, wait, where's the gorilla? I want to make sure not to miss the gorilla. And that's what the beauty of the spiritual path is it wakes us up before we're on our deathbed and wonder, did I miss something? Or even more tragically, don't wonder if we missed something and have to come back and learn all over again. So, why did God create that situation? I don't know. The the only answer that I've heard in all these years and all that I've listened to and read is it's his Leela. It's the drama. It's the divine drama. But here's what I've heard also that for me feels right. On a deep level, regardless of what religious path you follow, we all understand, whether we worship God in form or not in form, we all understand that it's all divine, right? We all understand that it's all just God. So even though in this country we have, dualistic paths and non-dual paths, and, we have our Vedantic paths, Advaita paths, and we have the dualistic paths, even those on the dualistic path understand, yeah, it's all God, I know that. But bhakti, love, devotion, feels so good. I'd so much rather worship God and love God than just know that I am God, right? I mean, okay, yeah, I get it, I am God. But that the joy of love, the joy of devotion, the joy of singing God's glories is so beautiful that we consciously choose that dualistic path simply so that we can have the experience of reunited. Because when you love, you unite. You listen to Puja Swamiji sing in the Arati, and what happens? You unite with God. It's ecstatic. But if you walked into it already with, yeah, I'm God, you'd miss that experience. Sing your own name, right? I mean, who cares what name you sing? If you're God, whatever. Why sing at all? That beauty, that joy in reconnecting is what I've heard is the reason that God did all of this. Is to make us forget, so that in our remembering, to wrap us around with this veil of Maya, so that in the stripping of the veil of Maya, we and God have that experience of reuniting in love and oneness. Because if we didn't forget, if there never were any separation, it all was just, nothing but God. If we all remembered from the beginning, there'd be no coming back together. There'd be no place for love, bhakti, devotion. And so to give us, and to give God himself or herself, that experience, this whole Leela was created. And that feels right to me. Because I'd much rather love God than be God. It just feels so much more beautiful. I mean, I know God's in me. But I wouldn't want to give up the joy of singing God's name, singing God's glories, of meditating upon God and experiencing that union. And so it makes sense that God would want to give us that experience. It's like, this is how they say, separation makes the heart grow fonder, right? You've got a marriage that's getting a little bit, redundant and boring. Well, take a week away from each other. Come back together. There's something beautiful in that coming back together. All right, you go off with the guys. She goes off with the gals. One of you goes to the kids' house. Whatever it may be. So that whether it's a weekend, whether it's a week, you come back together and it's, oh. So I think in the same way, we've been given that so that we can come back. And then in terms of how to find the guru, you have to be open. It's not a treasure hunt. It's a delicate question, because sometimes they say students should be ready and the guru will come. But that doesn't necessarily mean the guru's going to show up on your doorstep and bang on your door and say, I'm the one. I'm the one you've been waiting for. Come with me. So it's, a lot of people misunderstand it and think that the teaching literally just means, well, stay home, sit on the couch, eat your potato chips, and when you're ready, the guru's going to show up. And until that happens, well, just keep, doing your own thing. Part of being ready is you take yourself. It's not ready on my couch with potato chips and soap operas, waiting for the guru to, find my address. Part of that readiness is you find yourself in places, in situations where the guru may be. That you find yourself drawn to those places because you're ready. And that you stay open to the possibility in every moment that, maybe that's my guru. Maybe this is my guru. And in that readiness and in that openness, you will find the guru. And the only last piece to mention about this, because you didn't ask it specifically, but it always comes up with this, is there's no cookie cutter way to know. Okay, say you're in the presence of someone who you think might be your guru. You're not sure. So how do you know? And there's no cookie cutter way. There's no equation that you can say, here's the litmus test. If the strip turns blue, it's your guru. If it doesn't, it's not. You'll feel it inside. You'll feel it inside. Something inside you will open and awaken. But what's important to remember is there's a lot of people in the world who are very charismatic leaders who are not necessarily gurus. And there's an energy in charisma as well. And it requires a bit of subtlety inside the self to make sure that that inner feeling that you feel with the guru is the experience of light. Because that's what the guru brings, is light. Because being in the presence of a very charismatic leader also creates an excitement inside. But that's not light. And this is why throughout history, charismatic leaders have been able to make people do really wrong things. Because charisma doesn't necessarily mean integrity or righteousness. There are charismatic leaders who have led people to commit genocide. Some of them are great. Some of them lead people to do good things. But throughout history, the horrendous acts that masses of people committed against each other inevitably were triggered by charismatic leaders who were bringing darkness, not light. And so it's important to check within yourself, is what I feel, the excitement of being part of a group, the excitement of, somebody's energy, the excitement of, because with the group energy, there's also that excitement. And a lot of times charismatic leaders have big groups around them. And so it requires not getting swept up and making sure that before you decide a guru is right, that you decide that in the quiet of your own room or house, not in the throes of a crowd, of a group that's telling you, this is the one, this is the guru, yes, yes, you have to come, yes, yes, you have to do. Isn't it great? Isn't it wonderful? Aren't we lucky? Make sure to check in with yourself. And the only very last point that I would give is, anyone who tries to convince you that they are the best guru, the only guru, the most enlightened guru, I would run as fast as I could in the other direction. The real gurus are doing what they're doing as a favor to us. They're not in the disciple collection business. They don't need a crowd around them to feel good about themselves. They're not collecting people to help their own ego. They're just as happy if no one shows up, because it means they can just close their eyes and meditate. People show up, fine. They're here to serve. They're here to give. No one shows up, great. It's them and God. And so anyone who runs after you, literally or metaphorically, literally it happens sometimes, I literally had someone run after me trying to convince me they were my guru. But even if they don't run after you physically, if you feel pressured, if you feel pestered, if you feel coerced, that's a really good sign that it's not the right situation. Because the real gurus are magnets. Their energy is a magnet. You're going to be drawn toward it. They don't have to run after you. No magnet runs after the iron filings. The iron is attracted to it. The North Pole doesn't run after your compass. Here I am, follow me, right? It just stays put. All over the world, the compass goes toward it because the energy is so strong.